All right, welcome back. So, what if I told you that striking oil, finding a massive natural resource, could actually be a bad thing for your country's economy? It sounds crazy, right? Well, today we're diving into this really fascinating paradox. It's called Dutch disease. And we're going to ask the big question: is a sudden windfall like this a blessing, or is it actually a curse in disguise?
Okay, just picture this for a second. Your country hits the jackpot. A massive discovery of oil or gas or some other valuable resource. Suddenly, money is just pouring in. It sounds like the best news ever, doesn't it? But what if that incredible good fortune could somehow end up hurting other parts of your economy? Yeah, that's the strange puzzle we're going to try to solve today.
So, this whole paradox actually has a name. It's called Dutch disease. And the term itself came from the Economist magazine way back in 1977. They were trying to describe what they saw happening in the Netherlands. See, back in 1959, the Dutch discovered these enormous natural gas fields. And you think, great. But even as all that gas money was flowing in, they noticed something weird. Other really important parts of their economy, like manufacturing, suddenly started to struggle.
Okay, so how on earth does this disease actually work? Let's get into it. We're going to break down the classic textbook explanation for this whole strange phenomenon.
According to the traditional theory, this so-called disease has two main symptoms, two things that kind of ripple through the entire economy. The first is called the spending effect, and the second is the resource movement effect.
So first up, let's talk about the spending effect. The easiest way to think about this is like winning the lottery. All this new money from the resource boom means higher incomes, right? So people, and the government, they all start spending more. And a lot of that new spending goes towards local stuff, things you can't really trade across borders. Think construction or services. You can't import a haircut, right? So the prices for all these local goods and services get driven way up. And this rise in prices at home, it effectively makes your currency stronger, and that makes all your other exports, your manufactured goods, way more expensive for other countries to buy. All of a sudden, you're less competitive on the world stage. And then there's the second part, the resource movement effect. That shiny new oil or gas sector, it's incredibly profitable. So what does it do? It starts sucking up all the best resources. We're talking skilled workers, investment capital from other industries like manufacturing or farming. It can afford to pay way higher wages, so it basically bids up the price of labor for everyone, squeezing the profits of those other sectors and, well, causing them to shrink.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. Just take a look at the actual data from the Netherlands. In the decade before the gas boom really hit, their manufacturing output was growing at a pretty healthy 6.5% a year. But then, look what happens. As that gas money starts flowing, that growth just plummets. It drops to almost zero. And you can see manufacturing jobs just started vanishing. It looks like a perfect textbook case of the disease, right?
So there you have it. It seems pretty simple. A big resource boom comes along, and it leads to de-industrialization. Case closed. Mystery solved. Well, maybe not.
See, in more recent years, a lot of economists have gone back and revisited this whole diagnosis. And what they found is that the original story, well, it might have missed a few pretty crucial details.
You see, the problem is that classic model. It's built on some pretty big assumptions. Assumptions that don't always match up with the messy reality of the real world. Like, it assumes everyone who wants a job has one, that workers and money are just stuck inside the country, and that imports are just, final products we buy. But we all know that's just not how today's global economy works at all.
In fact, a huge paper from the World Bank in 2014 put it about as bluntly as you can. They said, and I'm quoting here, "Contrary to widespread belief, Dutch disease by itself is not a disease." Whoa! They argued it's not actually bad for growth or for people's well-being. It's just the economy adapting to a whole bunch of new wealth.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's play Mythbusters. Let's tackle some of the biggest myths that have grown up around this so-called disease.
First up, myth number one. This is the big one. The idea that Dutch disease actually leads to a welfare loss for the country, that it somehow makes people worse off.
The reality? It's actually the exact opposite. It's welfare improving. That shift away from a sector like manufacturing isn't a sickness, it's just the economy efficiently adapting. Think about it. That stronger currency means that everyone in the country can suddenly afford more imported goods from around the world. Your money goes further. So the overall standard of living actually goes up.
Okay, let's move on to myth number two. And this one goes right to the heart of the whole story. It's the belief that the Netherlands itself, The original case is the perfect example of the disease.
But when you actually dig into the history, the story just kind of falls apart. Turns out, the real cause of the economic problems in the Netherlands wasn't really the gas boom at all. It was a massive expansion of their social welfare system, which drove up wages and squeezed company profits. And here's the real kicker. The data shows that Dutch currency, it actually got weaker during this time, not stronger. The complete and total opposite of what the classic theory would predict. How about that?
All right, our third and final myth. This one is a huge concern for governments everywhere. It's the idea that Dutch disease hurts long-term growth because it kills off the manufacturing sector, which everyone assumes is the main engine of innovation.
But look, that whole argument kind of assumes that manufacturing is the only place where innovation happens, and that's just a really outdated way of looking at the world. Today, some of the most innovative sectors are in services. Think software, ICT. Even the modern mining industry itself is incredibly high-tech. And don't forget, a stronger currency has a silver lining. It makes it cheaper to import all the best technology and advanced machinery from overseas, which can boost productivity across the entire economy. So, if the disease isn't really a disease, then what's the modern prescription? If you're a government facing a huge resource boom, what are you actually supposed to do?
Well, the biggest takeaway from all the modern research is this. The goal is not to cure a disease that isn't actually real. Trying to fight against your currency getting stronger is usually a super costly and ultimately a losing battle. And what's worse, it actually works against all the benefits of having that new wealth in the first place.
No, the real challenge for countries in this situation isn't about saving one particular industry. It's about two much bigger things. First, learning how to manage the insane volatility, the wild up and down swings of commodity prices. And second, boosting the overall competitiveness of the entire economy for the long run.
So to handle that volatility, you need to be smart. It really comes down to countercyclical policy, basically saving the money during the boom times so you have it to spend when things inevitably go bust. Think of it like a national rainy day fund. Lots of countries use what are called stabilization funds or sovereign wealth funds for this. It also means you need rules to handle those massive waves of foreign money that can come rushing in and cause your economy to overheat. And for that second part, boosting competitiveness, the focus has to be on the fundamentals. The big idea is to take that resource money and invest it in things that make the whole economy stronger and more productive for decades to come. We're talking about things like better schools, better healthcare, and top-notch infrastructure. It's about using a temporary windfall to build a really strong foundation for the future. So really, in the end, the whole conversation has completely shifted. The real question isn't how do we cure this disease, it's how do we manage this incredible windfall. It's all about how you turn a temporary stroke of luck from a natural resource into lasting, shared wealth for everyone. And when you look around the world, that leaves us with one last big question. How many countries are actually getting it right?